Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about a UK government guidance legislation called the Autism Act 2009, and I'm going to be explaining how I feel about it and talking you through the actual main points of what the Autism Act is and how it helps support autistic people here in the UK. So let's get into it. So what is the Autism Act? The Autism Act is an act to make provision about meeting the needs of autistic adults within the autistic spectrum here in the UK. So the Act is also known as a strategy. So what does a strategy mean? So the autism strategy is what the Secretary of State must prepare and publish a document setting out a plan for meeting the needs of autistic adults. This includes improving provision of relevant services for adults such as NHS bodies or NHS Foundation trusts by the local authority. The Secretary of State must keep the strategy updated and can review it as needed. If the strategy is to get reviewed, it must be republished with the attached reviews attached. The Secretary of State must consult the participation of persons on the autistic spectrum as he finds appropriate or she finds appropriate. So what guidance is there for the Secretary of State to make this decision? The guidance for the purpose of the Secretary of State in implementing the autism strategy must include the local authorities about the exercise of social services within the Local Authority Act 1970 to NHS bodies and NHS Foundation trusts to make sure they have the correct provision of relevant services. The guidance issued under this section must be used in particular guidance with the provision of relevant services for the purposes of diagnosing autism spectrum disorders in adults, the identification of adults who are also on the autism spectrum, the assessment of the needs of adults with such conditions, and in the interpretation of the Act, which means someone who is aged 18 and over in England, within the local authority within a county council in England, within a metropolitan district council, within a London Borough Council. The NHS body means a strategic health authority, a primary care trust, a national health service that is established and has facilities within England. So my thoughts on this Autism Act is, as an autistic woman, I feel this Autism Act 2009 is a good thing for people like myself, that they are finally including people like myself and hearing our voices, because we are the ones who have lived experience with it. Also, this Act I'm a bit worried about because it's very technical, very wordy, very medical based. I feel a lot of autistic people like myself won't really understand what the Autism Act is or what it stands for. Also, I feel that politicians don't really understand autism. They don't really have the lived experience or knowledge of what or how it affects people like myself. So I'm kind of worried that this again is just one of their tick box things where they have to say they've provided help and support for autistic people like myself, and that they've got legislation in place to protect us and help us and support us to be our best selves. But again, it could be lacking awareness, it could be lacking autism participation. So I don't know how many people they actually spoke to help about this. I don't know if they actually got a lot of autistic people involved, or if they've just done this as a typical House of Commons Act, or they've just had to do it because they know full well they'll get in trouble if they don't do this legislation. So I feel that the politicians need to work more with people like me who have autism and have lived with it for quite a long time, and the best way to get us involved is by hearing our voices, being able to collab together, being able to do these pieces of legislation so that our needs are met and that we do have things that will help us to access medical services and even to access government services, because we often are forgotten about. So let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me in the comments below. I will attach the link of the Autism Act 2009 down below so you can read more about it, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys!